It's 1964, and America is settling in for a 3-hour tour that would last 3 seasons and become one of television's most enduring cultural touchstones. Gilligan's Island wasn't just another sitcom. It was a weekly escape to a tropical paradise where 7 castaways turned misadventure into comedy gold. But behind those swaying palm trees and laugh track moments lies a treasure trove of stories you've probably never heard. There were casting shakeups that almost changed everything, network battles that nearly sank the show before it launched, and real-world inspirations that shaped the island itself. Today, we're counting down 13 weird facts you didn't know about Gilligan's Island. If you remember racing home to catch Gilligan's latest scheme, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. Let's keep these memories alive together. Number 13. The professor almost wore a suit. When you think of the professor, you think of Russell Johnson in those casual khakis and work shirts, right? Well, here's the thing. The network originally wanted him dressed in a full suit and tie for every episode. They thought it would make him look more intellectual, more authoritative. Sherwood Schwartz had to fight that battle, arguing that no scientist would wear a 3-piece suit while building bamboo generators and coconut batteries in 90-degree heat. The network eventually relented, but can you imagine? The professor climbing trees and fixing the radio in a Brooks Brothers ensemble? It would have been absurd. Johnson later said that wardrobe decision was crucial because it made the character relatable and practical. The professor wasn't some stuffed shirt academic. He was a working scientist who rolled up his sleeves, literally. That casual costuming helped cement him as the group's everyman genius, someone who could solve problems without looking down on anyone. Number 12. Ginger was based on multiple movie stars. Tina Louise's Ginger Grant was clearly Hollywood glamour personified, but she wasn't modeled after just one star. Sherwood Schwartz intentionally blended several golden age actresses into one character. He wanted Ginger to evoke Marilyn Monroe's sultry vulnerability, Rita Hayworth's sophisticated allure, and a touch of Joan Crawford's dramatic flair. Schwartz has said he envisioned Ginger as the kind of movie star who'd been famous enough to be recognized but not so successful that being stranded would feel like a tabloid setup. Louise herself brought her own interpretation, playing Ginger with more wit and self-awareness than a typical bombshell character of that era. Interestingly, Louise was actually a serious dramatic actress who'd studied at the Actors Studio, and she took the role hoping it would be a more substantial character study. She later expressed frustration that Ginger became defined by the glamour rather than the layers she tried to bring. Still, her performance created one of television's most memorable archetypes. Number 11. The island had a secret location. You'd think a tropical island would be filmed somewhere exotic, but Gilligan's Island was shot almost entirely in Southern California. The lagoon scenes? Those were filmed at the CBS Studio Center backlot in Studio City, in a man-made lagoon that had been built years earlier for other productions. The famous opening sequence showing the minnow tossing in rough seas was actually filmed off the coast of Honolulu during the show's pilot, but after that, it was all Hollywood magic. The beach scenes used Zuma Beach in Malibu, cleverly dressed with imported palm trees and tropical plants. Production designers became experts at making a California soundstage look like a remote Pacific paradise. Cast members would joke about the absurdity of driving through Los Angeles traffic, then spending the day pretending to be hopelessly stranded thousands of miles from civilization. That lagoon, by the way, is still there at what's now CBS Radford Studios, and it's been used in countless productions since. A little piece of television history hiding in plain sight. Number 10. The theme song had different lyrics. Everyone knows the Gilligan's Island theme song, but did you know the first season had completely different lyrics? In season 1, the professor and Maryanne weren't even mentioned by name in the theme. The original version ended with "and the rest," lumping them in as afterthoughts. It wasn't until seasons 2 and 3 that the lyrics were changed to include the professor and Maryanne here on Gilligan's Isle. So why the change? Bob Denver, who played Gilligan, actually went to bat for his castmates. He noticed that Russell Johnson and Dawn Wells were getting shortchanged in the credits and pushed the producers to give them proper recognition. Denver refused to take solo billing and insisted the show was an ensemble. The new lyrics were recorded, and suddenly the professor and Maryanne became the named castaways they deserved to be. It's a small change that meant everything, and it showed Denver's character off-screen matched Gilligan's good-hearted nature. Number 9. Maryanne beat out 350 other actresses. Dawn Wells landed the role of Maryanne Summers after one of the most competitive casting processes in television history. Over 350 actresses auditioned for the part of the wholesome Kansas farm girl, and Wells almost didn't make it to the final round. She was living in Los Angeles, trying to break into acting, and she'd actually been told she was too sophisticated looking for the role. But something about her screen test caught Sherwood Schwartz's attention. She had this genuine, unforced sweetness that felt real, not performed. Wells later said she drew on her own upbringing in Reno, Nevada, where she'd been crowned Miss Nevada in 1959. She understood small-town sincerity because she'd lived it. What's fascinating is that Maryanne wasn't even in the original pilot. The character was created to replace two other female characters who didn't work during test screening. Wells essentially stepped into a role that was invented on the fly, and she made it so iconic that Maryanne or Ginger became one of pop culture's most enduring debates. Number 8. The show was almost called The Islanders. Before Gilligan's Island became Gilligan's Island, it went through several title changes that would have completely altered its identity. Sherwood Schwartz originally pitched the show as The Islanders, which frankly sounds like a beach resort drama, not a sitcom. CBS didn't love that title either, so other options were floated. Marooned, Castaway, Seven Stranded Castaways. Nothing clicked. Then Schwartz had a revelation. Name it after the central character. By calling it Gilligan's Island, you immediately understood whose perspective the show would follow, even though it was an ensemble piece. The network pushed back, arguing that naming a show after a character worked for dramas like Perry Mason, but seemed odd for a comedy. Schwartz held firm, and he was right. Gilligan's Island was memorable, specific, and it had a rhythm to it. Plus, it subtly suggested that the island itself was defined by Gilligan's presence. His mishaps, his innocence, his ability to accidentally sabotage every rescue attempt. The title became shorthand for the show's entire premise. Number 7. The pilot featured completely different characters. The original pilot episode of Gilligan's Island, which you can still find in certain archives, featured two secretaries named Ginger and Bunny instead of the characters we know today. Ginger in the pilot wasn't a movie star. She was just a secretary, played by a different actress, Kit Smythe. And Bunny, played by Nancy McCarthy, was supposed to be a wisecracking second secretary. After test audiences responded poorly, Schwartz retooled the entire dynamic. Bunny was dropped completely. Ginger was reimagined as a glamorous actress and recast with Tina Louise, and Maryanne was created as a wholesome counterbalance. Even the professor underwent changes. In the pilot, he was much more aloof and less hands-on. These weren't small tweaks. These were fundamental changes to the show's DNA. It's wild to think how close we came to a completely different version of the series. Sometimes the magic only happens after trial and error, and Gilligan's Island is proof that even great concepts need refining before they find their voice. Real quick, let's settle this once and for all. Were you Team Maryanne or Team Ginger growing up? Drop your answer in the comments below. And hey, if you're enjoying this trip down memory lane, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Number 6. The Castaways were originally going to escape. Here's something that almost never was. Sherwood Schwartz originally planned to have the castaways rescued at the end of each season, then re-stranded in a new location for the next season. The idea was to keep the premise fresh by changing the setting. One season on a tropical island, the next on a deserted iceberg, then maybe a remote mountain. CBS executives actually considered this structure during development meetings. But as the show got rolling, Schwartz realized the tropical island itself was a character, and audiences were attached to it. The lagoon, the huts, the familiar jungle paths, these became comforting constants. Changing locations would mean rebuilding sets, rethinking the visual identity, and losing that sense of cozy familiarity. So the concept was scrapped, and the castaways stayed put, episode after episode, year after year. Ironically, that repetition became the show's strength. We weren't watching to see if they'd escape. We were watching to see what ridiculous situation would prevent them from escaping this time. It was comfort food television at its finest. Number 5. Bob Denver insisted on equal screen time. Bob Denver, who played the title character, did something almost unheard of in Hollywood. He actively fought to make sure his co-stars got equal billing and screen time. As the nominal star, Denver could have demanded top billing and the lion's share of storylines, but he saw Gilligan's Island as a true ensemble show. When he noticed that Alan Hale Jr., who played the skipper, was being sidelined in certain scripts, Denver went to the writers and producers to advocate for more balanced storytelling. He did the same for the rest of the cast. His attitude was that every character brought something essential to the dynamic, and shortchanging anyone would weaken the show. This wasn't just generous, it was smart. The chemistry between all 7 castaways was the secret sauce, and Denver understood that intuitively. Off camera, he was known as one of the kindest, most down-to-earth actors in the business. Cast members from other shows would later say that working with Denver was a masterclass in professionalism and humility. Gilligan might have been clumsy, but Bob Denver knew exactly what he was doing. Number 4, Tina Louise thought she was signing on for a different show. Here's where things get complicated. Tina Louise, who played Ginger, has repeatedly said she believed she was signing on for a sophisticated satire about social dynamics, not a broad slapstick comedy. According to Louise, her agent and the producers pitched the show as a character-driven ensemble piece exploring human nature under extreme circumstances. Think Lord of the Flies meets sophisticated comedy. What she got was pratfalls, coconut phones, and Gilligan knocking things over. Louise felt misled, and tensions between her and the producers simmered throughout the show's run. She rarely participated in reunion specials and TV movies, and she's been candid in interviews about her disappointment. Sherwood Schwartz countered that the show's tone was always clear, and Louise simply misread the material. Whatever the truth, it's a reminder that even on beloved shows, not everyone's on the same page. Louise brought glamour and talent to the role, but her heart was never fully in the shipwreck, so to speak. She wanted art. She got a coconut cream pie to the face. Number 3, the skipper's hat became his security blanket. Alan Hale Jr.'s captain's hat wasn't just a costume piece, it became psychologically essential to his performance. Hale, a veteran character actor who'd appeared in dozens of films, found that wearing the skipper's hat helped him stay in character between takes. He'd keep it on during lunch breaks, during script read-throughs, even when he was just sitting in his trailer. It was his way of staying connected to the skipper's bluster and warmth. The hat was actually replaced multiple times throughout the series because Hale would sweat through them under the hot stage lights. But each replacement had to be exact. Same style, same weathering, same fit. Crew members joked that if you saw Hale without the hat, something was seriously wrong. Hale himself said the hat gave him confidence, a physical anchor for the character's larger-than-life personality. It's one of those quirky actor superstitions that actually worked. The skipper without his cap would have been like Gilligan without his red shirt. Technically possible, but somehow fundamentally wrong. Number 2, the show's premise was inspired by Defoe's Robinson Crusoe. Sherwood Schwartz has openly acknowledged that Gilligan's Island was his modern, comedic take on Daniel Defoe's 1719 novel, Robinson Crusoe. He wanted to explore what happens when people from different backgrounds are forced to cooperate without the structures of civilization, but instead of a grim survival tale, he'd make it funny. Schwartz was also influenced by William Golding's Lord of the Flies, though obviously he went in a much lighter direction. No pigheads on sticks here, just coconut radios and bamboo bicycles. The social experiment aspect fascinated Schwartz. A millionaire forced to work alongside a farm girl, a movie star living in a hut, a scientist who can't use any of his formal education. In early interviews, Schwartz framed the show as a metaphor for international cooperation during the Cold War, though that high-minded concept got somewhat lost beneath the physical comedy. Still, if you squint, you can see the utopian ideals. 7 strangers learning to live together despite their differences, creating a functional micro-society. It's actually kind of sweet when you think about it that way. Number 1, Gilligan almost had a different first name. Here's the kicker. For decades, fans debated whether Gilligan was the character's first name or last name, and the show intentionally kept it vague. But in Sherwood Schwartz's original character notes, Gilligan's full name was supposed to be Willie Gilligan. Willie appeared in early drafts of the pilot script. At some point during pre-production, Schwartz decided that mystery was more interesting than clarity. Was Gilligan his first name, making the skipper oddly formal? Or was it his last name, leaving his first name forever unknown? Schwartz loved that ambiguity and protected it throughout the series. Bob Denver played into it too, once joking in an interview that Gilligan's full name was probably Gilligan Gilligan, which somehow feels perfect for the character. The debate became part of the show's folklore, one of those unanswerable questions that kept fans talking. In later reunion movies, the writers still avoided resolving it. Sometimes the best answer is no answer at all, and Gilligan's name remains one of television's most charming unsolved mysteries. Just Gilligan. That's all we need, and that's all we'll ever get. And there you have it, 13 weird facts about a show that's been making us smile for 60 years. It's amazing how much history and heart went into what seemed like such a simple premise. 7 people, 1 island, endless mishaps. Which fact surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments, and if this brought back some good memories, share it with someone who used to watch reruns with you on lazy Saturday mornings. Until next time, keep those childhood memories close. They're the real treasure.